Welcome to How to Market Your Retreat Part 1, 7 attraction-based strategies to promote your high-end retreats and workshops. I know you're excited about your retreat, and I know from personal experience what that feels like. And I know you're nervous about filling it up with amazing people so that you can deliver massive transformation. So I'm going to cover a few things in this video that are going to help you fill that retreat. And first, I'm going to lay out a little bit of a distinction that's going to help you identify which of these strategies is best for you. And I'm going to tell a little bit about the story of my very first retreat and how I built my retreat model over the last 8 years. I'm going to make a distinction between short-term, right-away strategies and more long-term strategies. And then finally, I'll share with you 7 of my favorite marketing strategies for retreats. Let's go. So the first question I have for you is, are you in phase 1 or phase 2 of your retreat business? In phase 1, you're kind of early stage, you might not have a big following or a whole lot of people clamoring for your retreats already. In phase 2, one of the benefits is that you're not in a lot of urgency. You can kind of slow down, take your foot off the gas a little, and things will your retreats can fill themselves a little more. And the reason I bring this up now in the beginning of this video is that no matter what stage you're in, and especially if you're in phase 1, I want you to consider some of these longer term strategies. Because when you put these long-term strategies in place, you'll get the benefit of it for years to come. That's why this is a 2-part series, because in this video I'm going to share more of those long-term strategies, and in the next video I'm going to share more of those immediate short-term right-away strategies. So the short-term strategies are built a lot more around you picking up the phone and getting out there and doing some outreach. And that I'm going to, like I said, talk about in the next video. The long-term strategies are really attraction-based strategies. The idea is to bring people to you and cultivate what I like to call the butterfly garden. Cultivate the garden that attracts the butterflies, aka your clients, and has them stay, engage with you, and be eager to hear from you. I promised I would tell you a little bit about my own retreat journey and how I started this business. So my very first retreat, I did it 8 years ago. I had hosted other types of events before that, but this was my first 3-day intensive of this format that I talk about a lot on this channel. And I decided to do my retreat 45 days from when I set the date, 45 days out. So I had 45 days to fill this retreat. So what I did was I just picked up the phone and started calling people, texting people, reaching out to people I knew, past clients, friends, colleagues. At the time, I was in a BNI group in Miami. I shared it with my BNI group. I spoke about it everywhere I could. I call it the 6-foot rule. I talked to everyone. I didn't have a brochure. I didn't have a website. I filled that event. I filled the next few very much in the same manner. And it was a lot of work, and I certainly didn't want to keep doing it that way. So back then, what I decided to do was start laying the foundation for more long-term strategies. And these are what I'm going to share with you. And so in the beginning, it was all about outreach and, concentration and focus and getting out there, doing the work. But now I kind of sit back and do these videos every month. I do a bunch of videos, and most of the business now comes to me, and it's a lot more graceful and easy. So those are the strategies we're going to talk about right now. Now, before I dive into these 7 strategies, I do want to invite you to take a moment and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I always love to hear from you in the comments. Now, the first thing I want to invite you to do, and this is probably the most important thing of all of them, because this strategy will support all the other strategies I'm going to mention, and that is to start doing email marketing if you're not already. So email, I consider it all roads lead to email. And the reason for that is when you have an engaged email audience, that's yours. You own that, you control that. I understand the value of social media. We'll talk about that in a moment. But social media, you don't own that. If Facebook one day decides to take you down, you lose that audience. And I've seen this happen to people. One of my clients, his wife had spent thousands of dollars on Facebook ads for her antique business, and all of a sudden one day it was just gone. And to this day, I don't think she ever got it back. That was a couple years ago. So, and Facebook, I just recently lost access to my Facebook account, and there's no one to call. There's no one to talk to. You have to submit tickets and forms, and it took me 2 months to get back into my Facebook account. So email is a way to get all those people in your Facebook and LinkedIn and all the places and gather them so that they're engaged with you. That's why you look at my videos, every single video call to action, first step is to get your email address so that I can communicate with you directly. And of course, you can unsubscribe at any time. So that's a two-way engagement, and there's permission there. I'm not scraping your email from anywhere. I don't recommend that. That's against the law, actually. Don't go to LinkedIn and download your list and upload it to your email. Do not do that. Invite them, offer them something of value, and they'll come willingly. So number one is email, because that's going to give you the opportunity to communicate with your people. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, email, nobody reads email, there's so much spam. Well, the truth is that it's still the number one way people like to receive marketing messages. That's by data. That's by a survey that was recently done. So the truth is people are checking their email. They are using it. And yes, there's a lot of spam, and you do not want to be spam, but that's not what this video is about. So if you're looking for email marketing guidance and support, I highly recommend my client and good friend, Leanne Marie Webster. You can find her at totallytelesummits.com. She teaches people how to build, grow, and nurture their email lists without being sleazy or cheesy. So you know, she's right up my alley. Lastly, what I want to say about email marketing is it is a long game, right? It's going to take a little time to build up that list, and bigger is not better. It doesn't matter how many people are on there if your list is actively engaged and listens to you and trusts you. The second idea is creating a Facebook group. This is a place where you can send people, you can gather people from Facebook into your Facebook group and communicate, engage, and create a sense of community. And then, of course, from that community, inviting them into some sort of offer or free thing or conversation so that you can connect with them further and also get their email address. One of my clients who I talk about all the time, she's also my mentor, Nani Leah Diamond, she's spent the last 3 years really cultivating a beautiful community on Facebook. It's not a huge community, but it's very active, very engaged, and it serves to help her fill her one-day events and her retreats. If you're a woman and you're interested in spiritual practices around femininity and sacred feminine, I invite you to check out her Facebook group. It's beautiful. It's called Full Glory. The third thing that you could consider is this, what I'm doing right now. It's creating content-rich videos on YouTube so that you can attract your audience, people who are looking for what you're an expert in. Now, I'm not going to go deep into that because there's so many resources out there, including my own. I've actually got a video on how to use YouTube for marketing. And of course, I have to give a big shout out to Nate Woodbury, who's the Mac Daddy of YouTube content videos. He's the one that produces this channel. And he also has a lot of great videos out there about how to use YouTube to build your business. The fourth, and probably my favorite in terms of joy, the thing that I love to do the most is speaking. Now, this is really a long-term play. It takes something to build up a speaking business. If you're not already speaking, then this is something that you're going to need some materials, you're going to need some video. It takes something to get that started, and it's absolutely worth it. And what I'll tell you is that if you can't get on someone else's stage, then that leads me to number 5, which is create your own stages. That's what I did for years in the beginning of my business when I couldn't get booked on a stage because I didn't have enough experience. I created my own events and my own workshops, and that helped me for a long time fill my retreats. I stopped doing those right when COVID started, and now that things are loosening up, I'm going to probably start doing those again. Who knows? Another option, which I briefly mentioned earlier, was to consider doing a Telesummit. A Telesummit is an online event. It's an online conference where you invite a bunch of speakers who have access to your ideal clients, and you invite them to be speakers at your Telesummit, your online conference, and then they promote the conference to their audiences, and then their audience come to your landing page and enroll in the Telesummit so that you have that list. And then what they get out of it is, of course, they get to be featured in your event, and they can offer something to the people who are watching the Telesummit. This is something that Leanne Webster, who I mentioned earlier, that's something she's an expert in. And that's a way to kind of build your email list fast. So instead of doing it a little bit drip by drip over time, it's a way to have kind of a big enrollment period where you get a lot of people, a few thousand people sometimes, on your list all at once. And then finally, I'm a big believer in content marketing in general. So blogging or doing a podcast or something that is that you enjoy. That's the really important part of content marketing. What people end up doing a lot of times is think, oh, I should do a podcast or I should be blogging, and then they do it from that energy of should. And I think if you know me at all, you know that I'm not about that. That I believe that the energy from which you create determines the energy of what you create. That's a famous quote from my mentor, Nani Leah, who I mentioned earlier. And I believe that what you want to do is find that content that you enjoy doing. Like, do you want to write a book? Do you love writing a blog? Or is there a way that you can hack it so that you can love it? Like for me, I don't really enjoy writing a blog. So what we do is we take the transcription of my YouTube videos and we pop it into a blog and then edit it. So there are lots of ways that you can start to build this butterfly garden that's going to, over time, I would say that these strategies take about 2 or 3 years to fully mature. But when you do it, you'll be really glad you did. There's a famous, I'm going to call it a Zen proverb, that says the best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago, and the second best time is right now. And that's kind of how I feel about these long-term attraction strategies. Right now, go ahead and get started and do the things that you really enjoy and you love so you can invest them with the energy of that joy and love. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you want to go deeper, you want to learn more about marketing your retreats, then let's connect. You can find more about how I work with people at superstarbusinessbreakthrough.com, and you can even set up a time on my calendar to connect. I look forward to meeting you.